Hi, I'm Eleanor, and welcome to this week's edition of the Intuition Lab. It's the end of January, and Quitter's Day, that was January 9th, has come and gone, and your best laid New Year's plans and resolutions are already in tatters. Well, that's true for me too. This week, I'm going to talk about what to do when you've already toasted your New Year's goals, you feel like a failure, and you're wondering, okay, now what do I do? Well, first of all, congratulations on facing the truth and where you are right now. You can't make progress or live the life you want if you don't face the facts of what's going on with it. And then the next thing I invite you to do is to frame the failure. See it as a signpost helping you to achieve your goals in either a more efficient way or telling you that maybe this isn't really aligned with you. If you can do this, sort of view what's going wrong as, an impartial observer, someone outside of yourself, just so you can accurately take stock of where you are going wrong, because it can be really tempting to just think I'm doing everything wrong. So we want to pinpoint exactly how you've been falling down. For me, I've been eating after dinner and staying up too late. And that's one thing I've been trying to change. And next, this always comes up. Tune into your intuition and ask yourself, what life do I want to live right now? Who do I want to be? This is helping you to cement your commitment to who you're becoming, or if you just want to be an enhanced or improved version of yourself. Does it feel good or right? What's the first thing that comes to mind? If you've tuned into your intuition, it should be what your higher self wants for you. But it can also be what you've been conditioned to want. So keep iterating on this until you feel, yes, this is really who I am, even though it may not align with the goals you set not a month ago. And a good place to start with this is my episode 37, which talks about setting goals for who you really want to be. But in all of this, when you think about that person, does it feel good, or is there a rightness to it, a bone deep rightness, not just the rightness that will earn you accolades from people around you? Now, next, does this vision align with the goals you've set previously, or do you need to just scrap it and start over? Qualify your goals. Do they work towards an overall vision of yourself that's unrealistic? Or if it's something you really want to achieve, is this the right time to do it? Maybe you're better off starting in the spring and adopting a slightly different approach. This is something I help my clients with often. They feel like they're on the right track and they have some clarity, but it might not be the right time to launch an endeavor, or they're not going about it in exactly the best way for them. I mean, anytime you try to make a change in your life or you want to do something new, most people will do a good bit of research, maybe even talk to other people who've achieved what they want to achieve in a specific way. But when you start undertaking that, you find out, it was great for them, but it's not for me. For example, this year I am trying to bump my step count, and it's a pretty major bump. So when I first started tracking my steps, I could do it all in one big walk. And then as I upped my step count, it would take two big walks, which is kind of time consuming. And now I realize that for me to achieve my step goal every day, I'm going to have to take three modest walks a day. Granted, I can use my treadmill, but I am going to have to split it up. I do not have 2 to 3 hours a day to just walk around. So don't be afraid to know that the timing is off or that you need to slightly change your plan of attack. Now, once you have recommitted to your vision or created a new one, and you've set a few new goals for yourself, I invite you to keep things as simple as possible, to not complicate it. I encourage you to be a bit lazy in a sense, that you determine what is the least amount of or most effective action you need to take to achieve your goals. I would suggest you write them down and see if any of them have an immediate intuitive draw or a hit for you when you review them. And then for each goal you have, and obviously we want to change so much in our lives, but I would advise you to keep it simple, keep it minimal, maybe 3 to 4 things you want to work on. Some people can do 5, but pick 1 to 2 tasks related to that goal and start implementing. See what feels the most aligned, even though it may not be the easiest or most pleasant option. You know, for some people who want to declutter, the KonMari method works really well. And I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, where you pull out everything you own and you go through it. That would overwhelm me, but it works well for some people. For some people, just throwing everything out on the floor all at once, even though it sucks, is the best approach for them because they want to have a big impact straight away. For me, it's easier to just declutter a bit at a time and make sure it is going out of the house. Another example is for me, I am losing weight. And I realized what would be most effective for me, the number one game changer for me, it personally, is calorie counting. And then appropriate nutrition, enough protein, enough minerals so that I don't lose hair or that my skin feels sallow, looks sallow, or I feel tired. And then for me, strength training to maintain the muscle mass I have. I think that is the easiest approach. That means as long as I lift weights and eat right, I can sit on the couch. However, that's not for me. Walking is the bonus. It really improves my mood. But it's those first few things, calories, the nutrition, and the strength training, that have really been proved to move the needle for me. So that's going to be my primary focus, along with me taking my 3 walks a day. Or also, another very apt recent example for me is shoveling snow. I am in a part of the country that had, I think, 18 or 19 inches of snow, and we're supposed to be getting more this coming weekend. So, as you can imagine, there is a lot to shovel. My first priority was the front walkway so I can easily get out to the street so mail can be delivered. And then the driveway and freeing our car because my husband needs to go out and use the car. The other paths can wait, path to the backyard can wait, right? You really need to prioritize what will have the most effect. If the path to the backyard doesn't get shoveled till spring, I won't be happy, right? But it's not the end of the world. Nothing important will be blocked because that didn't happen. So that's the same approach you need to apply, especially when you've already tried to do something and it hasn't worked. You need to really hone in on what is the most effective action you can take. And this is also where asking yourself this when you're relaxed and tuned into your intuition, what is my next best step? What is the most effective way to achieve this goal? And finally, I encourage you to forgive yourself when you falter and keep going. Because sometimes you just determine to do something and you lock in. More often it takes a few tries, or you're, locked in, but outside circumstances conspire, whether wittingly or unwittingly, to pull you off course, right? It's only the end of January. We have, if you care about doing something in a calendar year, we've still got 11 months left. Perhaps winter isn't the best time for you to start your new year. And I have a podcast episode about this too, so I encourage you to search the archives. But perhaps you feel like taking renewed action in spring or summer or even the fall, right? Or you just feel like, well, after this first event happens, I will be better able to take action on this. The most important thing to do is to keep moving, however slowly, if your goals feel aligned. I'd also encourage you to check in. Depending on the goal, it might be daily, weekly, or monthly, right? Whatever goal you've set will determine the periodicity of your check ins. But I encourage you to not just look at data, but to take an intuitive look and ask yourself how you're doing. And if there's a better way to approach this, right? Always ask if there is a better or more efficient or effective way to do it. Sometimes the answer you'll get is, that's okay, just keep on keeping on with doing what you're doing. Sometimes you'll be pointed in another direction, but what I impress upon you and myself is to just don't give up, keep going. So until next week, I invite you to review your goals, to not beat yourself up if you've fallen short, but to just step back, engage your intuition, see what needs to change, and then take action on it, even in the tiniest way. If there is a goal you are struggling with and you would just like a little bit of clarity and guidance on the best way to approach it, I invite you to book in for a single question text reading with me. And I'll have links to that below. You just message me a question and I will respond to you within 24 to 48 hours. And I focus on giving you actionable information, things you can work on straight away. So until next week, take good care and keep on plugging on towards your goals. Bye now.